Hey guys, Josh here. Today we're going to learn Naked in the Rain by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. If you haven't already seen my cover video, check that out and you can hear me play all the way through the tune, including the bass solo note for note. So today in this video, this is a cool tune because it's kind of good for beginners and more advanced players because the main slap riff isn't that hard, but then the bass solo is a little more tricky. So you advanced peeps stay around for the bass solo, but we're going to start with the main riff. So preliminaries, download the PDF for this lesson in the video description. That'll show you how to play everything in sheet music and tablature. Once you've got that, we'll get rolling here. So we're tuned to drop D, so your low E string is tuned down to a D, and everything else is normal A, D, G. So D, A, D, G, which means that in the main riff here, even though we're playing octaves a lot, the shape is going to look like this, straight across on the same fret rather than the normal octave shape you're used to. Slap technique, briefly, because I can talk about this for a long time. If you watch Flea playing, he slaps like this. I can't even do it anymore. But his thumb's pointing down and his bass is slung pretty low too, so that kind of contributes. I really recommend that you slap with your thumb pointing slightly upwards at about 11 o'clock if you consider the string to be 12 o'clock on a clock face. 3 reasons. One is you'll get a more tight, juicy tone. Second reason is it's more accurate because when your thumb's pointing down, it's easy to accidentally hit strings you're not aiming for. And third, if you ever want to do any double thumbing, you can't do that if your thumb's pointing down. So tone, accuracy, and double thumbing are all good reasons to adjust your slap technique and learn how to point with your thumb up, unless you only want to slap bass in a rock band or something like Flea or Peanut from 311. But outside of the sort of rock slap arena, you really want to have the thumb pointing up technique in your bag, at the very least. So, thumb pointing 11 o'clock, rotating the forearm at the elbow joint, not just wiggling your thumb around. So it's really bam, 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 bam. Not... Hear how crappy my tone gets when I try to wiggle my thumb around rather than use my whole forearm. So that's the slap technique, and then the pops are just index finger pops like you'd normally do them. And if you don't know how to do those, I don't think I've done a video on those yet, but I should cover them separately. Anyway, so this main riff, so thumb, thumb, pop, thumb, thumb, slide, thumb, pop, thumb, pop, thumb. And in that little thump, pop part, you really want to emphasize the pops there. You don't want it to sound like... Those low G's are not equivalent players to the popped G's. So in that part, you really want those pops to stand out. And the last thing before we get into it is you really just want to destroy your bass with your right hand, whether it's the slapping or on the solo. Just pluck the crap out of it. Flea does not use a gentle, nuanced right hand technique. So if you want to get the tone and get the sound of the Chili Peppers bass playing, just be nasty with your right hand. Just kill your strings. Pow, pow, pow. Ugh. Just guerrilla bass playing. No gentle fusion, soft touch stuff. So let's work on the main riff here at a nice slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're having any trouble with the rhythm here, just keep in mind that this follows the drum part really closely. So if you just think of boom, 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 those pops line up with the snare. Those are with the snare, and then a lot of it really fits with the drums well. So listen to the drums if you're having trouble with the rhythm. Let's try this a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try that at tempo, and then we'll be done with the main riff there. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. So that's pretty much the whole song besides the bass solo, which we'll get to in a second here. During the verses, that riff moves up to D, which looks like... So now that we're on the normally tuned strings, we're not using the low D at all for this part of the riff. We're going to use our normal octave shape, which is 2 strings and 2 frets apart, rather than on the same fret like we were with the low D. So exactly the same right hand pattern, just in D instead of G. Then you're just back to the main riff. The choruses are real easy, just a low F, low C, then main riff. He does a few different fills there, which I notated there in the music, the way he plays the first chorus. He does play the second and third choruses slightly differently on those F and C chords, but if you're a beginner, you can just play it as it's written, and if you're more advanced, then you can figure out those fills by ear, but they're not super important. So, last thing before we go today is the bass solo, which I had a lot of fun figuring out because it's got some weird notes in it. So it's all notated there for you advanced cats to dig into. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to play through the solo at a reduced tempo so that you can kind of wrap your brain around it more. I found that before I figured out how to play it, it sounded pretty weird to me, but now that I've played it quite a few times, it makes a little more sense. So that's a fun thing about the solo. You definitely didn't do the typical minor pentatonic crap that a lot of bass players stick to. So here we go with the bass solo. You can play along if you want to or just listen. 3, 4. I love that slide at the end. So here it is at tempo, just for your listening interest. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's really fun to play. So that's the solo. Hope those close-ups and reduced tempos helped with that. But this is a real fun tune to play. It's a real good beginner slap tune. So I highly recommend that you dig into this, even if you're a beginner and you're worried that you can't play that. If you just slow it down, you'll find a tempo at which you can execute it, even if it's like... And then work your way up from there. There's no shame in starting slow. So that's basically the tune. Thank you guys for watching. I'm really appreciating everybody's feedback and comments on these. If you have more lesson requests or cover song requests, feel free to post below. Share these videos with your friends if you like them. If you're a new viewer, you can subscribe for more exciting content every week. Videos of bass lessons, covers, and some original music too. You can take bass lessons with me if you feel like you need more help on any of this stuff. I'm happy to work with people over Skype. And lastly, if you want me to keep putting out free videos on YouTube, please vote with your dollars and go to patreon.com/JoshFossgreen and see about becoming a supporter there. It's really helpful in making these videos a continuous process and getting bass lessons out to the masses, many of whom are 13 years old and can't afford private bass lessons. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you dug this tune. Talk to you soon and rock on.